Okay, Mozart, you fire.
Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to make guitar loops for artists like Gunna, Lil Keed, Lil Gotit, and some others you can think of. So let me just play the loop for you guys. So as you can see, there's only 4 elements really to this, and it's quite simple. So first, I like to use a guitar, obviously, because it's a guitar loop. So I use one for the main melody and rhythm, then I add another one just on top, just to add to it really, and make it better. So the first guitar sounds like this. And the second guitar sounds like this. So I like to use this guitar in Contact called Ilya FM Nile guitar, and it sounds really good. It has a nice tone to it, and there's different modes. I like to use modern bossa mode because it sounds really nice and the tone's crisp as well. And I go in here and I click it, and then I set it to guitar mode. So you can set it to keyboard mode, but I like to set it to guitar mode because it simulates a real guitar, which is nice, and that's what makes it sound even better. So I go to the snap magnetic button, and then I go to 1/3 beat. Normally I start by making a chord, and then so first I would start by making a chord. So here there's C, E flat or D sharp, and then B flat or A sharp here. And then when you put it like this, it sounds like this. But you don't want it to be just still, you want it to be flowing. So just split it like this, and you have your triplet flow. So once you've got your triplet flow for the first chord, you're going to find the second chord. So here it's this. And if I play it, it sounds like this. So then just move it next to each other. So you want to start bass note, then the next note, then the top note, and then keep repeating it. So normally I'll just highlight it and then do Control B and keep doing that. So this second part is this one. And as you can see, it's just 3 notes, but it just sounds really nice when you add the triplet rhythm to it. Here you can see every time I transition into a new chord, I use some notes to transition into it. So if I take it out, it'd sound like this. By adding these transition notes, it sounds a lot smoother and it enters the chord really nicely. So when I exported it, I went to E2 transient mode and then pitched it all the way down to -400 cents. and it just sounds really nice and it sounds processed. But when I get to the end, I'll show you how I like to detune stuff and make it a bit more vintagey-ish. I don't know what that means. So for the second guitar, I used the exact same guitar, exact same preset, but I just added some top notes to it, and it sounds like this. What makes it really nice and almost stand out but blend in at the same time is the position of these top notes. So I added it where the top notes of the first guitar would be. So here, this takes up the first box, this takes up the second, and that takes the third. And then the third box is where the top notes go. So by adding the top notes again to the third box, it adds together with it and it blends in. So by having it on the third box, starting on the third box, it just sounds really cool. And with this, you don't want to add too much, you don't want to go too crazy on it, just add something simple like this. So I like to add 2 of the same notes, but here I just repeated this. And then when it gets to the transition part, that's where I like to add different notes. So here I repeated these 2, then when it transitioned. But here, this isn't an exception because I don't know what I was doing. But yeah, normally when I transition, I just use 2 different notes and then keep repeating the same notes. So when I exported it, I also pitched it down -400 as well. For the next part, I added a synth pad just to make it sound ambient, and I like it in the background because it's really smooth, so it sounds like this. So for this synth pad, I just used Serum and I found it in some splice pack. It's called Pad Plume. I don't know where you can find that, but it's on Splice. And all I did was just add 2 notes and then let it carry on throughout the rest of the melody. So normally with the pads, just keep it really simple because it's in the background. You don't want it to stand out too much. Because these 2 notes are in key with the chord progression, it blends in, so you don't even have to add too much stuff because it's already in key and it just blends in. You want it in the background and it sounds nice. For the last part, I added some vocals. I don't know where I found it, but I just downloaded this pack online just for some vocal stuff. So I just added it to the second part and it sounds like this. So yeah, that sounds really beautiful. It just sounded really cool when I added it. So normally you don't have to do this, but it just takes it to another level. And if I play it without the vocals, it sounds like this. And this is with the vocals. So yeah, they both sound good, but the one with vocals just sounds even better. So if you could just add some vocals, you don't want it to be too much. I just added these nice little hums, these like R's to it. I didn't really want some complex or long melodies. I just wanted something that could be in the background and just add to the atmosphere. So for the guitar, I didn't EQ anything, I didn't mix anything, I just left it how it is. and just pitched it down. That's all I did. For the pad, I just used a simple EQ just to boost these mids, these high mids, and I just left the rest really. For the vocals, I added some EQ. This is a bandpass EQ because I wanted to cut out all the other frequencies. So if I play it without the EQ, it sounds like this. If I play it with the EQ, it sounds like this. So I just cut out all the frequencies I don't want, and because I want it to be in the background, I don't want all the high frequencies or the low harsh ones in the vocals to be inside. So I just want the middle frequencies that sounds really nice. I also added this plugin called ambient. So I just left it on the default setting and just turned this knob all the way down to on 26%. Oh, 29%, never mind. So yeah, I just do that. With the ambience, it just helps it, again, just sit in the background. It makes it more spacey. So if I play it without it, it sounds like this. So it sounds very dry and a bit too close, but when I play it with this ambience, it sounds fuller. It sounds like this. So it's more reverby, it's more echoey, and it just sounds really cool. Now for the master, I like to add RT20, and I use the Vinyl 1 preset. So I just turn the noise down a bit so it doesn't fill up the loop too much, and when you're trying to make a beat and there's too much noise in the background, then it's gonna make it a bit distorted and harsh. And I also keep the wobble down a bit. I distort it a little bit. I turn off these two stuff. I don't know if it's already turned on. And then again, I just turn down the magnetic part a bit. Yeah, I don't really do too much with RT20, but the Vinyl 1 preset sounds really nice. Then for the EQ, I just EQ some of the lows out and then boost a bit of the highs just to make it sound a bit more crisp. But yeah, I don't go crazy with EQ. I don't really go crazy with any of these effects because I want the person, the producer who's using it, to actually experiment with the loop. They can manipulate it however they want. If you do too much EQ and effects on your loops, it almost limits the producer, the beat maker's ideas. It limits what they can do with the loop. But when you just leave it almost raw, it sounds really nice, and also they can do whatever they want on it. So that's why I just keep it simple. So yeah, that's the loop really. Nothing too complicated on this, but when you leave it basic and simple, it sounds really effective when you add everything together. If you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, also leave a comment, and any suggestions for any other video ideas. Check out some of my other loop packs which are on my channel. If you want to be added to my weekly loop list, and it's also free so you don't have to pay for it, just email me on mozartloops@gmail.com. I'll put that in the description, and I'll be trying to send at least 4 loops every week. But if I don't send during the week, then it just means I'm busy with school or some other stuff, or sometimes I'm just unmotivated, so I just don't do anything. Yeah, anyways, thank you for watching. Bye.